What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we are here for another Dynasty trade review show brought to you by Let's Talk Dynasty. Now, as you guys know, it would not be a Dynasty trade review show without my co-host MFGD. So let's get MFGDs into the building and let's start talking some Dynasty trades. War, how we doing?
Hootie hoo!
Hootie hoo, let's do it, man. Look, we got 10 trades all submitted into the Discord. If you guys have never been around this channel, welcome in. All of these trades are submitted by people free of charge. You just go join our Discord. It's free to join, linked in the description. You put in a trade with some context. We pull them every single week. That's what we're doing today. I got 10 of them loaded up right now, so let's just hop right into the first trade here. And the first trade I have is going to be a 10-team Superflex, PPR, and Start 9 type of league. Now, CJ is the guy who submitted this trade. He says he has Lamb and London and needs a running back. So he traded away Rashee Rice and he gets Ashton, Jeanty for his Dynasty roster. So I got to ask you, War, knowing if you have Lamb, knowing you have London, and Rice was your wide receiver 3, are you comfortable moving it for Jeanty right now in a Dynasty league?
I'm moving London, not Rice.
Why is that?
Because London's quarterback is Michael Penix Jr. That's why.
Fair.
I don't even think the crazy part is I don't even think we've seen the final form of Rashee Rice in that offense yet. That's the now correct me if I get the wrong Simmons right. Jeffrey Simmons, Justin Simmons, Jonathan Simmons, one of them
You didn't even say the right one. Josh Simmons.
I was close, man. I was close. I was throwing them J's out there. Look, because it's hella Simmonses in the NFL. Yeah, Josh Simmons comes back. That's going to open up a new dimension to their roster. And I'm sorry, man. Jeanty, okay, we could piss people off in the first one. No problem.
We're doing the first one today. That's what we're doing today. All right.
Yeah, Jeanty has been a decent run. By no means is Jeanty Bijan or Gibbs. Like he ain't that. He's not that. And I don't know if I'm not sure if a running back could become that on the Raiders because the Raiders is just such a shit show, especially with Geno at quarterback. You seen what I said about him in the group chat the other day, Geno Smith.
I don't know if you can repeat that on this show.
Yeah, it was funny though. But yeah, man, I'm taking the Rashee Rice side on here. To be honest, the decision wasn't easy at all. You got Rice, London, and Lamb. I mean, I think one thing we know for sure is that it's not going to be Lamb that we're trading. So there's like Rice and London. So when it comes down to that, both of them are like great wide receiver ones. But man, give me the guy that's attached to Mahomes. I know Mahomes isn't like a fantasy like darling right now. Like he like kind of like he's not Mahomesian, but yeah, man, I'm just signing Rashee Rice. I don't know, maybe I'm just too much of a Rashee Rice guy this season.
I think you might be because I think the value's fine, and also you said Mahomes hasn't been Mahomes. He's been Mahomes. Maybe the market hasn't reacted back to Mahomes being Mahomes, but his production has been there. But I look at this and I have no issues. I think you need a running back. You go trade Rashee Rice for a guy in Ashton Jeanty who's going to be one of the top 5 running backs in Dynasty rankings across the board still. If you don't have him in the top 5 running backs across the board, you probably shouldn't have had him in the top 3 anyways just about a couple of months ago. So that's probably where people are with Jeanty. I think he's a fine player. It doesn't always work out immediately for players. It's funny, given the conversation that you and I were having before the show where, you said you could play slow and methodical or you could be reactive and aggressive and try and play the market. I think at the end of the day, like it's got to be a balance of both. And Jeanty right now, for me, he's a player that I'm still just sitting on. I think he's talented. I think the situation should get better for the Raiders eventually. And Rashee Rice, he's definitely a player that everybody's very excited about. People are very high on him. But if I have to pick between the 3 of these wide receivers, Lamb, London, and Rice, I'm going to roll with Lamb and London as the top 2 in my rankings over Rice. And Jeanty feels like one of the next running backs that you can go down and get. Is there anybody else, in the Jeanty range that you would have rather seen it pulled? Would it have rather been Achane? Would you feel better if it was Achane? Would you feel better if it was I don't know, who else could we put up there? Hampton? Would you feel better if it was Omarion Hampton?
No.
Jeanty over both of those guys?
Yeah, because I mean, at least at the end of the day, you're getting a young running back. So I mean, all the other guys that could put up comparable or better numbers are like a little bit older. So I mean, I wouldn't trade Rice, London, or Lamb for one of those older running backs. So at least with this, you could be like, maybe Jeanty takes another step once the Raiders,
Get an
I don't
O-line.
know, get something.
Yeah, get something. But no, I hear it. I have no issues with this trade, though. I think the value's fine. It's going to be preference. You're a Rice guy. I get it. It is what it is. But let's move on to the next trade. 12-team Superflex, 6-point passing touchdown, and tight end premium. You have somebody trading away Jalen Hurts. They get Joe Burrow and a 2026 first-round pick. We have no context as to whether or not this is going to be late, middle, early. We have no context as to whether you are contending or rebuilding. So pretty bare bones on the context. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you let us know it's 6-point passing touchdown and things like that. But I'm going to assume that if you were trading Hurts for Burrow in a first, you're not contending because you're shedding points and you're buying an injured player and you're buying draft capital. And I'm going to assume that if you're getting a first round pick from the guy getting Jalen Hurts, making a contending move, that first is probably late. So I think that's the context I would go with. Hurts for Burrow in a late first in a rebuild. And if that's not the context, well, next time give us context so we don't have to guess. But what do you think about that, War?
I mean, I think if the context that you provided is true, then I think it's a decent move. It's a move I've made before acquiring Burrow but the difference is that I traded Kyler Murray. So I mean, it's a big difference in Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. But
that was also like 2 years ago, dude.
It was when Kyler's value was
yeah.
Yeah, man. If he's rebuilding, then I mean, this is a move that you go get. When healthy, that's the key word. When healthy, Joe Burrow is going to be Joe Burrow, and you're getting the first. It sucks to give up Hurts, but if you're already rebuilding, you're not winning, your record isn't good, then why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one where, like I said, given the context, that's what would make the most sense to me. If that is what it is, then I think it's a fair deal. I think both teams have an argument of if you're trying to win and you're buying Jalen Hurts and it just costs you your late first to get off of Burrow, sure, that's fine, because I even think next year, startup season, Jalen Hurts will be above Joe Burrow in startup rankings anyways because of some of the rushing upside and a little bit younger in age. And so there's a couple of variables that could push Hurts to make that gap be a late first. Now, that said, if you are rebuilding and you're trying to, or maybe not rebuilding, retooling, and you can go from elite QB to what we think is still an elite QB in Joe Burrow, and you get a first round pick thrown in on top, I'm all for that too. So given that context, given that situation, I think this is a fine, fair deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too much to go into. I think everybody understands the concept of like what we think the person the trade is trying to do. So.
Do you think that come startup season this summer, do you think Joe Burrow will still be a first round startup dynasty pick, or do you think he's gonna get passed up by some of these young guys like Drake May and some of these young guys like obviously like Jayden Daniels was ahead of him this offseason. You could have a couple other young guys that maybe get ahead of him. Does Jaxon Dart in startup season get people excited to go past Joe Burrow, who's coming off of the injury? Do you think he's still a first round guy, or do you think he falls into that second round now?
I think a lot of guys are going to pass him up, man. Especially guys like Drake May. That's going to be a no-brainer. Who else did you say?
Like, is Daniels still going to go ahead of Burrow?
I think he will, because at this point, there's going to be like,
okay,
both of these guys keep getting injured. This one's younger. This one, has rushing upside.
Do people get excited about Dart? Does Dart pass Burrow, or people have conversations about Dart over Burrow?
I think it depends on how he looks the rest of the season, which I don't think at this point we have any reason to believe that he's going to slow down. I definitely think the hype and the performance could push him past Burrow, and the age, of course.
Yeah, because at 22 years old, that age gap is massive.
I think it's going to be more interesting to see if guys like McCarthy, let's say McCarthy goes on a tear towards the end of the season, guys like Caleb, like, it's going to be interesting if people choose the youth and like the offensive scheme over the age and the injury concerns of Joe Burrow. So I think,
yeah, like even guys like Bo, could Bo pass Burrow, if he has a good back half of the year?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I
Yeah.
mean, so either it's the right move or people are gonna get really good value on Joe Burrow come next
100%.
season.
And for the record, folks at home, I know sometimes people misconstrued the two, but I asked the questions and hypotheticals to try and project market reaction. That's not, we don't necessarily believe that we would move Joe Burrow below our rankings, all those guys. We wouldn't push him down below all of those players. But I'm just asking, will the market, react in that way to where Burrow becomes a undervalued asset in the offseason? Because right now, I feel like he's still somewhat properly valued. So we'll see what happens as some of the young guys get more games under their belt and stuff like that. So move on to the next trade. Next trade, I got a 10-team, 2-quarterback, full PPR, rebuilding roster who says that the picks they are trading for are projected mid to late. So in this rebuild, the 10-team league, you're trading away Dak Prescott and Josh Jacobs. You get a 26 first and a 27 first, both from the team that you are giving Jacobs and Prescott to. Like you said, those are projected mid to late. I would probably say that giving Dak and Jacobs, who we project as league-winning type of players down the stretch this year, contending pieces this year, you're probably trending more towards a late pick than you are a mid-round pick. I think mid-round is a little bit optimistic, but that's fine either way. Like I said, it's 2 firsts for Dak and Josh Jacobs, one of them in 26, one of them in 27. How do you feel about that, though, War? Are these guys both worth a single first, or are we underselling here, or what are we? I mean, what's the vibe?
So here's the thing, man. Here's some context for you guys that I think you guys need to know sometime. So, first of all, getting 27 first, that's great and all. That being said, this is not enough. A lot of my opinion on what we do in Dynasty, me and Andrew are in a few leagues together. I would say that those are some of the most competitive leagues that you could be a part of. Even though, we call each other stupid sometimes because the competition level is so high. I'm sure if we go to other leagues, it's kind of like, okay, I'm the man around here. But, and I'm telling you right now, in the leagues me and Andrew play in, Dynasty leagues, ain't nobody just going to give you a Dak for a single first, and nobody's just going to give you Jacobs for a single first. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
I
Like,
think
first
I
of
think you
all,
could get Jacobs for a single first. I got Jacobs for a single first, but I had to sell that first on the clock during the rookie draft, where it was like the most value it possibly could be at. That's what got me Jacobs.
because in the leagues we in, we look at your desperation and we will use your desperation against you. Like, oh, you're trying to win a championship? Yeah, that's a single first for these players not going to be enough. How much does a championship mean to you?
Yeah,
That's like,
you can throw me an extra second on top of that one. Come on now.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going first of all, it's a super flex league. I'm not trading Dak for a single first. Dak is like what? Like he's like what top like what in ranked quarterback. Like I don't care when it comes to this. I don't care about age. Like it's like, dude, you want to win a championship, you're gonna have to pay for it. Like
Well,
now,
and
I don't think
age at the
it should.
quarterback position's a little bit different too. I think age is different there because instead of the cutoff, where with wide receivers, if we're like you're 30, like it's wraps. At a QB, it's like you're 35, 36, 37. Like, all right, now it's wraps.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't gouge for much more than this, man. But like, I'm at least need to get a second or two thrown in there. Like, why not just give me that 26 first and 26 second and 27 second too while you there? Like, and I'll throw back a third somewhere. Like, if it'll make you feel better.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think the thing, though, that is maybe being glossed over just a tiny bit is the fact that it's 10 teams. So even the lates are top 10 picks. It's not, pick 11, pick 12. So that does help you a little bit. At the end of the day, though, like I do agree with you. Dak right now is a top 10 quarterback in fantasy. From production, not dynasty rankings, but production. And that should be valuable to somebody. Josh Jacobs, I think the rest of season schedule, we've talked about it a lot. I've talked about it a lot in a lot of the redraft content. It's juicy for Josh Jacobs down the stretch. Potential league winning type of schedule for Jacobs. And we know that when Jacobs gets the volume, he's dominant in that Green Bay offense. So, these are two players that I think are league winning caliber type of players. And you get these mid to late first round picks, which in a rebuild, a retool, that's fine. You're moving aging assets for young picks. And if they do land mid, you're even better because you're talking about a better bucket of prospect talent that you can get into. So, overall, I think fine. I do agree with you. I probably, if it was me, I would have tried to get you to throw a little bit more in there because it's like, I feel like I'm selling at wholesale price right now with where I'm at. It's like you're buying with Costco prices right now. Yeah, I'm giving you 2 contending pieces in bulk, and you're just getting the wholesale price. So I would have liked to make it a little bit more retail. Let's go to Target and you give me that second round pick or something just to get this as well. But yeah, I think it's a fine deal for the most part. Would have liked a little bit more, but it's not league breaking or team breaking by any means.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna drag you for what you got back in the deal. I just do think you could have got a little bit more. Should have pushed him. Should have definitely pressed that. How much do you want to win? Button on him,
The
like
narrative.
how much you spend, man?
Yeah.
Because I'll do that. That's how my trade negotiations going. I mean, I'm sure it annoys some people. Like I'll be like, hey man, I looked at your roster. Yeah, you're gonna be in for a tough time if you think that you can do this without these players. These 2 players will bring your team to here. I'll definitely try to sell you on how the players I'm trading you can help your roster and why it shouldn't matter that you're going to give me 2 extra seconds on top of those first.
Yeah, especially if we were saying they're mid to late. Hey, if you get this, you win the championship, dude. Yours are going to be late anyways. What's the difference between throwing me a Bashal Tootin second round pick? You know what I mean? Like if Bashal Tootin ain't going to do nothing to your roster, you about to win the championship. Let me get Tootin next year.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is to point out like, hey, this is a late first. I mean, it's almost a second, and this late second.
I hate people like you because it's like, what do you mean it's almost a second? It's a first. It says a first on the screen. It's a first that I'm trading. What you mean it's almost a second? I hate that shit. And then you're gonna try and sell me an early second, and you're gonna say it's basically a first. Fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck you.
Or if it's don't let it be a top 2 second, because then I'm gonna say if this was a 12-team league,
it is a first. All right, then whatever. Well, look, I think the team that's getting Dak and Jacobs is clearly trying to win. You're trying to win too. It's just a little bit of trying to win in the future. That's why you're getting those draft picks. But I will tell you, if you're trying to win over at home and you don't want to do it in your dynasty leagues, obviously you do want to do it in your dynasty leagues, but if you want to do it everywhere else as well, go sign up over on Underdog, because on Underdog right now, if you sign up using promo code LEAGUEFFB, which does directly support this show, and you play $5 in the app, they are going to give you $100 in bonus funds. So that's a win in itself. You just want a free $100 in your pocket. Use this promo code when you sign up. They'll get you $100, and then you play with that money. Go win some more over there on Underdog, and come back and let us know how much you won. And we would be greatly appreciative of you using that promo code to support the show. So like I said, don't want to waste too much time on an ad, but if you want to support the show, new customers, play $5, get $100 over on Underdog using promo code LEAGUEFFB. All right, so we do have a 10-team Superflex, full PPR, and start 9 type of league right here. They did let us know team number 1 is reloading with a strong wide receiver core. So he was able to get rid of Garrett Wilson and Matthew Golden, given how strong his wide receiver core is, and he got Omarion Hampton and a 2026 second round pick. So in a reload, not a rebuild, it seems like just trying to, maneuver some assets around into the right spots. Do you like Hampton in a second for Wilson and Golden?
Any trade involving a Jet just feels difficult. I will say though that I don't like the idea, but it's a short-term thing. Hampton, I like Hampton. I like every prospect in this deal, not necessarily Matthew Golden. He's definitely closer to Matthew Silver at this point.
Matthew Bronze.
Matthew Bronze.
Is it crazy to say Hampton is probably the most desirable asset in this deal?
I don't think it's crazy.
I think he might be.
Yeah, and I don't think that as crazy as I don't think he's the most desirable, but I don't think he's the most talented player in this deal. I think the most talented player is still Wilson, but unfortunately, Wilson is still a Jet. So
and going to be a Jet and forever going to be a Jet, and it just looks like that's just what it's going to be, man.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're asking me if getting a young potential running RB1 for my team and getting a freaking wide receiver 2, which is the best I think Wilson can be as long as he's a Jet, along with like what do we call it? A taxi squad. A taxi squad player. Now, I ain't gonna crap on him that much.
I'll be nice and call him a risky flex.
Yeah, risky flex. And you're getting a second rounder? Yeah, man, I think I might take the Hampton side, especially if you're stacked at wide receiver.
Yeah, and he listed all the wide receivers, but to be honest, I was like, I'm not listing 10 wide receivers as the context for this trade because I don't got room for that shit. But
who's the top?
I can't even tell you off the top of my head. There's 30, 40 submissions Pickens in there and I read the context, and then by the time I read 4 trades, I'm like, I don't even remember who said what. So I'd be doing a disservice just throwing names out there. But I know if I said he has a strong wide receiver core, trust me, he has a strong wide receiver core because I believed it was strong as well. So look, I'm okay moving Garrett Wilson for Omarion Hampton. Like I said, I think Omarion Hampton is probably the most desirable asset in this deal. I agree with you. Garrett Wilson's probably the most talented player, but at the end of the day, it's unfortunate, man, because I feel like with Garrett Wilson, it's going to end up being one of those things where, man, what if Garrett Wilson ever had a competent quarterback? Like, could you imagine the ceiling that Garrett Wilson would have had for us in fantasy? Like, could he have been a Jefferson, a Chase level type of fantasy asset had he gotten competent quarterback play? Like, I think that's going to be the narrative down the line is like, man, what could have been with Garrett Wilson? Because I think everybody who looks at him and watches him play realizes undeniably one of the most talented wide receivers in the league, just never has good quarterback play. So
I was gonna say she start demanding a trade, but they're gonna say no. They're gonna say we're gonna draft you a quarterback, we promise. And
yeah, and then they're gonna draft him Fernando Mendoza.
You want to draft a quarterback in 26? I'm like, okay, good luck.
Well, I think the scary thing right now about 26, and this is getting more into prospect talk. I talked about this a little bit last night on the Q&A, but I think the scary thing about 2026 right now is if you look across at the quarterback position in 2026, which I think some people were saying like at the beginning of the season, myself included, was like there's a lot of names at the quarterback position, and that's what's making this class a little bit more intriguing is because we could have 4 or 5 quarterbacks that we're talking about in Superflex leagues. And here's the reality. The names that we thought we would be talking about, Lenoris Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, some of those names that we've been accustomed to hearing, underperformed this year, have not performed to the expectation. Nussmeier has kind of fallen out of first round consideration for the most part. Lenoris Sellers looks like a massive developmental project for another college coach to try and probably have him go back to school and fix it and come back out in 2027. Then you have guys like Fernando Mendoza, who's emerged and looks like he's going to be a guy that can come out this year. Dante Moore, one of the best quarterbacks in the class right now, but it's already being talked about by NFL scouts and Todd McShay that Dante Moore is going back to school. Ty Simpson emerges as one of the best quarterbacks in this year's class. People are talking about Ty Simpson's going to go back to school. What does that mean right now? The guys that have emerged, all of them going back to school, the guys we thought that we were going to have underperformed, it's Fernando Mendoza right now as the only guy that I think anybody feels somewhat competent and confident in, and 27 just gets richer. I mean, we talk about the guys that are performing right now that want to go back to school. 27 is going to be ridiculous as far as a draft class, and we already thought it was ridiculous, but now we're getting 26 guys that want to go back to school and come out in 2027. Come on now. So I think that makes it a little bit interesting for 26. Total tangent off topic there, but that's like, now we're talking about like the Jets situation of like, you're going to go get a QB, but if all of them want to go back to school, then what the hell are we going to do? You better not reach on, another guy that doesn't want to come out. And I bet part of the reason why they want to go back to school is because your ass is sitting there at the top of the draft. That's probably why. You in Cleveland and the fucking Saints and all you guys out there that are at the bottom, and people are like, I don't want to play for these motherfuckers. So yeah, look, I think Garrett Wilson, super talented player. Going back to the trade here and wrapping it up and putting a bow on it, I think Hampton for Wilson, absolutely fine deal. You want to move cross positionally 1 for 1, good with that all day long. Golden for a second, it's basically a re-roll at that point in time. You could argue that you probably want Golden over a random second in 2026, and I have no issues with that. But like I said, I think I prefer Hampton as the most desirable asset. So overall, good deal, fair deal, and given your context of you being strong at wide receiver and needing to reload and kind of reposition some of the assets into other starting spots, I'll take Hampton all day long.
I'm right there with you.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Next trade we got here is a 12-team Superflex half PPR league, a contending roster who says the picks that he's trading away are projected late. So he moves away a late 27 first round pick, Isaiah Davis, and a third round pick. Fodder, we don't care about those two pieces, really, for the most part. It's basically Daniel Jones for a late 27 first round pick as a contending roster in a 12-team Superflex. And I think this is an interesting trade here because it brings up a little bit of a conversation, right? Daniel Jones has obviously been very good for fantasy football since joining the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts have now traded away multiple first-round picks to kind of beef up this roster because in my own opinion, basically what I'm seeing them do tells me their actions believe that Daniel Jones is their franchise quarterback. So with that being said, I'm assuming that this offseason, an extension is going to come for Daniel Jones that is going to be a pretty large extension as the quarterback of the future for the Colts. If those things happen, is a late first-round pick in 2027 fine for a contending team in Superflex, or are you I saw you shaking your head. Are you just like, I ain't playing with the Daniel Jones bullshit?
Ain't no way, Andrew. Ain't no way.
So tell me why, because I think you could look at the numbers right now and say very valid to trade a first for Daniel Jones because of the way he's been producing.
Look, man, I'm low-key old, bro. I'm old as hell, bro. I'm old as hell,
we see
bro.
we see the gray in the beard. You don't got to tell us.
Yeah, I'm old as hell, bro. This shit feels like Matt Schwab. Like he's having, like I watched that man come out. Like Matt Schwab initially was like, "Oh shit, man, Matt Schwab, we found this guy that was a backup to Michael Vick, and now look at him, he's." And then I just slowly watched him like turn back into a pumpkin. And I'm sorry, man. I still see a lot in Daniel Jones's game where I don't think it's out of the question that he turns back into a goddamn pumpkin. Like I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't know, man. And I know you guys are probably, oh, here he goes again with this 27 first shit. Look, I'm not trading no 27 first for no Daniel Jones. Andrew just literally talked about the young quarterback prospects that are going to be coming out, going back to school and shit and coming out. And I'm about to trade for Daniel. And what if Daniel Jones turns back into Daniel Jones, huh? Now you done traded your opportunity to get a good young prospect at 27. And it don't matter if it's late. A good young prospect at 27 for Daniel Jones. Now, don't get me wrong. Daniel Jones having a hell of a season. The Colts clearly believe in Daniel Jones. I'm 100% on the same page with Andrew that he's going to get an extension this offseason. That don't mean that he's going to keep playing the way he's been playing.
This is eerily similar to the conversations everyone was having last offseason about Sam Darnold. And it's a guy who hasn't lived to the expectation of his initial draft capital with his team. Goes to a new team, starts showing signs of life, ends up, being a fantasy performer. Sam Darnold, keep in mind, down the stretch last year, top 12 quarterback that he finished on the season there in Minnesota. New team takes a chance on him, pays him the money, and then the narrative in the offseason was like, not Daniel Jones, it's Sam Darnold. Can Sam Darnold do it again? Like, we've seen it once, but was it just a flash in the pan, or can he do it again? And Sam Darnold's doing it. Sam Darnold's been fine for fantasy. So
yeah.
I think this is the same conversation, the same bet. Daniel Jones, I think, has a little bit of a safer floor than Sam Darnold for me in that argument because of two things particularly. One of them, the Colts clearly didn't draft a young quarterback in that same draft class, so there's nobody sitting on the bench here in Indianapolis that is the future. Nobody's the future here. That was with J.J. McCarthy, right? Like, J.J. McCarthy was drafted, and then they had Darnold, and then it was like, are you really going to stop believing in your top 10 NFL draft pick to pay Darnold?
Ain't A-Rich. Sure shit ain't A-Rich.
Right. So, like, your future isn't sitting on the roster right now. The other argument would be that there's rushing upside in fantasy with Daniel Jones that Sam Darnold didn't have. And so I think those would be the two floor pieces for Daniel Jones. I personally don't have an issue with this deal, and it's on the basis that you think Daniel Jones is going to be the piece here to push you over the top to win a championship. Because in a super flex league, finding quarterback production is tough. It's very tough, especially in a 12-team league. So when you can find those pieces that are going to have contract value insulation, a safety net of production and situation, and are performing, I'm okay taking shots on them. So I think I'm okay with this. The reality is, if you got into 2027, sorry, the cat's trying to jump up on my lap here. If you were trying to get into 2027's draft class and you're looking at all of the players, you're going to love the names. There's no denying that. I think, in my opinion, 2027 is going to be one of the most hyped draft classes, talked about draft classes, sought after draft classes that I probably have ever covered as a fantasy football and dynasty fantasy football analyst. There's never been a draft class that I think is going to get this type of hype. Very respectable names in the industry right now are glazing over 2026 to just start looking at 2027 because of how excited they are for 2027. And these are big names. I'm talking about like industry giants for ESPN, CBS Sports. Like, these are the big names, and they just want to talk about 2027. They don't want to talk about 2026. Because of that, 26 might be a little bit underrated, I think. But it's just, I'm telling you how valuable those picks are going to be when it's all said and done. My only thing here is Daniel Jones, the value is right. The production is there. I'm okay with the deal. If Daniel Jones, and this is the risk, and obviously I don't even think it needs to be said, but if Daniel Jones regresses, you're going to be looking at that 27 first like, damn, I wish I had my first in 2027 when it comes around. But if you win a championship, we say this all the time on the show. If you win a championship, that shit don't matter. Because what do? We try to win championships, not trades. That's what we try to do here. And I think this is one of those moves where if it wins you the championship, you can say, to hell with the 2027 draft class. I'm the champ.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, man. Somebody offered me in a Dynasty League, offered me Daniel Jones for JJ McCarthy. I was like, nah.
That's an interesting one. I saw Daniel Jones go in one of my leagues. It was a 10-team league, so a little bit different than this one. But I saw Daniel Jones go for a second and some change. It was like an early second. Probably was, when you think about it, I know we just joked about it, but when you think about that early second, is probably still a top 12-ish, 13-ish pick. So it would be a late first in this one. 2026. So maybe similar compensation, but it was an early second and some change. And I think I was like, I think I'd rather have Jones.
Yeah, I'm much more comfortable trading a couple seconds and maybe like some type of positional player for Jones than I am trading the 27 first.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't remember exactly. I think it was like Dylan Gabriel in an early second. So you got a young QB that I don't know if it matters. I don't think Dylan. Yeah, Peekaboo Dylan. You got Peekaboo Dylan. I don't know if that even matters, but hey, it is what it is. Let's go on to the next trade, though. I don't want to spend too much time here. Let's go to this one. 12-team Superflex, full PPR, tight end premium, and start 11. The team receiving Brian Thomas is currently in 6th place. So I think they're hedging their bets a little bit this year. They don't know whether or not they're a contender. They don't know whether or not they need to kind of play for the future. So what they did is they tiered down from Rashee Rice, and they got it's Rashee Rice and a 2nd round pick in 27, and they got Brian Thomas Jr., a 26 first round pick and a 26 third round pick. So obviously a huge conversation here is the Brian Thomas fall off in 2025. That's going to be studied in universities across the country moving forward, because the Brian Thomas fall off was insane how bad this has been for BTJ. But I'm curious as to how you feel about Brian Thomas as a long-term dynasty asset, because obviously 2025 is wraps. It feels like he's not going to return on the value, and it is what it is. If you've been left holding the bag for Brian Thomas, you're holding it because the value is sunk. So people are going to say sunk cost fallacy. I don't believe that actually exists with super young wide receivers like this, but can BTJ get it back down the road, or how do you feel about this deal?
Can BTJ get it back down the road? I mean, maybe. I mean, initially, I think it's funny. I think the cope of BTJ this season is interesting. Like, because I think most of us started off like just blaming Trevor, like, Trevor, give him the damn ball. But then we start seeing drop after drop.
Yeah, ball came your way and you're not catching that shit now, Brian.
It's just like, you might just be on the verge of being trash.
Well, and then what did I say? I said he had the yips.
Yeah. He really do. He got the yips. Like,
yeah.
But with that being said,
you called him Justin Blackman.
I did. I did call him Justin Blackman. Oh man, I did call him. It makes it even funnier that like Justin Blackman was like number 14,
something like that.
Number 7 plus 7 is 14. Yeah, man. I do think he's if I can get a fair price for him, I don't mind having him on my roster as like a reclamation project. Like, let's see if he can rise back up to being a wide receiver 1. Maybe.
Are you pulling the KOC project as a dynasty fucking coach for wide receiver reclamation projects? Is that what you are?
Yeah, like, because it's real, like you said, it needs to be studied, because it's really hard for me to believe that you go from being one of the top young wide receiver prospects to being what he is now. That's really hard to believe.
Here's the question I'm going to ask. That came with Mac Jones at QB. Is Mac Jones just a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence?
Ooh.
Is Mac Jones just a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence?
Is Mac Jones a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy?
You're gonna make some people mad today.
No, I'm just saying, like, and look, Andrew, you know better than anybody. I'm a Brock Purdy guy. I'm a Brock Purdy guy, but I'm like, maybe they both just good. Maybe Brock Purdy and Mac Jones are good. I mean, that's gonna be a problem, though. That's gonna be a problem.
Brock's one of my favorite buys right now in Dynasty because I think his value is shot. People don't like his value right now.
I mean, good on the 49ers because what they're going to end up being able to do is, if he's under contract, is move Mac Jones. I don't know if Mac Jones is on more than a 1-year contract. If he is, he's
2 year.
Okay, yeah. So they're going to be able to move Mac Jones and actually get something for him and keep Brock because they're not trading Brock Purdy. They're not doing. I know a lot of 49er fans that, and we're getting off on a tangent again, but I know a lot of 49er fans that really want Mac Jones to take Brock Purdy's spot, and they're shitting all over Brock Purdy. As far as this trade,
why would that happen? Because he's taking them to a Super Bowl, and you've paid him money, and at this point you're pot committed. So like, why would you want that? Because what that means is you then become a team that is paying a quarterback to sit on your bench, or you're eating dead cap because you have to move the quarterback. So like you lose cap flexibility, which really hinders you as a roster from a roster construction standpoint.
Because fans are fanatics, like they think about the first thing and don't think about the thing that leads to the other thing that leads to the other thing. They don't think about that. Like, and you see it all across the league. Like, oh, are the Vikings, are they soft benching JJ McCarthy for Carson Wentz? Okay, so the Vikings are just going to stunt their development of their young quarterback by having him benched again. Oh, are the Bears going to put in Tyson Bagent and bench Caleb Williams? So the Bears is going to squander a number 1 overall pick for an undrafted quarterback. Oh, are we going to trade Brock Purdy? They're not. They just paid Brock Purdy. They just paid him. Like,
well, based on that type of logic, they just soft benched Jayden Daniels, by the way.
Yeah, they just soft bench. It's somebody else they're saying that got soft bench too. Who is it that the soft bench of the week? Kyler.
Kyler got soft benched. Yeah, he's not actually hurt, but I don't know. I don't know about that one, actually. I don't think I saw some stuff that came out where it was like when they were debating on whether or not they were going to go with Brissett as a starter, somebody said, watch, I'm telling you right now, Kyler Murray is going to go on IR tomorrow morning because it's not going to be a benching. It's going to be an injury. And they hadn't had a choice, or they didn't have a choice. And then it saves Kyler's camp a little bit of face. So when he does try and get a trade this offseason, I was just hurt. I didn't get benched.
What's going to be crazy is when the Jets trade both of those 26 first for Kyler Murray. That's going to be crazy.
Honestly,
do that.
I wouldn't mind it if you do that and skip out on drafting the quarterback in this year's class. I wouldn't mind it.
Man, we got to get back to this trade, man. All I'm going to say about this trade, bro, is that I'm not giving up a 27 second with Rashee Rice. Like, if I'm trading you Rashee Rice, if I'm getting back BTJ, I'm going to need to keep my 27 second.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think if I'm making this trade, I like moving a down tier from Rice if you need the help. I like hedging your bet. You're in 6th place. But Brian makes me so nervous. The value's fine if you still believe Brian can bounce back. That's going to be a personal discretion for anybody. I'm not here to tell you whether or not Brian's going to bounce back. If I can buy the dip on Brian Thomas, like you said, I'll take the reclamation project on my team by buying the dip. I'm down to do it, but I don't think this is a dip in price. This is paying retail. This is paying retail.
Yeah. And I think this is also an issue with not picking your lane, not being sticking with the courage of your convictions. Like, you in 6th place, you're hedging your bets. You traded Rashee Rice away for BTJ. At this point, theoretically, you probably should be just getting as many assets as you can and like not even thinking about making the playoffs.
But yeah, I mean, you look at this trade and I think it's definitely a risky trade. It's a bet on Brian Thomas bouncing back. And if I have to make that in my hedge while I'm unsure whether or not I'm contending or not, then fine. I will say be careful because sometimes when you hedge and you, like you said, you don't have conviction in the team, the roster construction, things like that. Sometimes that's how you can get stuck in the middle, and we don't want to get stuck in the middle. We either want to be at the top or we want to be playing for the future, in my opinion. I know some people think that's controversial. I think it's just better for roster construction and roster management and league management in general. But Rice is the best player in the deal. I'm going to lean Rice in the second side if I have to pick one today. But But if Brian Thomas can bounce back, you may be looking like a genius here. It's just going to take him bouncing back.
He's going to have to bounce back to at least what he was in his rookie season.
Yeah, we're going to need to see him bounce back to like top 12 to 15-ish dynasty wide receiver value. Yeah. All right, well, let's go on to this next trade. I do have a trade here that is a 12-team Superflex, full PPR, and start 10. Now, Deadly Ambitions is a contending team who said he lacks depth. So he's trading Jamar Chase away while contending to get the depth of Rashee Rice and Chris Olave. Now, a 26th fourth and Terrence Ferguson are thrown into this deal as well, but it really feels to me like if you're a contender, you're not playing Terrence Ferguson, and the 4th round pick doesn't matter. So it's just Jamar Chase for Chris Olave and Rashee Rice. How do you feel about moving Chase as a contender? Chase has been elite with Flacco again.
Yeah, he has. Here's a way you could look at it. I'm gonna just be devil's advocate because I'm really against trading Jamar Chase in most aspects. There's gonna be weeks where Rashee Rice alone either replicates the same type of performance Chase has or plays better than Chase. Those weeks are gonna exist. Rashee Rice is that kind of talent. And then if you get one of those weeks and you get a big Olave week, then the Chase not having Chase isn't going to hurt as bad. It's just, I guess what my biggest concern is that with Chase, and I mean, to a degree of Rice too. I mean, I think a bad day for Rice is like 16 points. Chase is almost guaranteed to have a big game every time he plays. He's guaranteed. And then this also is without me having context. I'm sorry, I don't watch the Saints. I have no clue.
Who does?
How a lot.
Who the fuck does?
I mean, we know one person, but
and he hates his life every Sunday. He absolutely hates his life watching them.
Yeah, I have no clue how Olave looked with Tyler Shook last week. I have no clue. I know he was putting up decent numbers with
It's been the
Desmond
target share.
Ridder.
The target share has been insane this year for Olave.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is like you would talk about whether or not that looked great with Shuck or whether or not that looked great with Rattler. It looked great with Rattler. I'm looking at last week with Shuck, and I mean, how does 4 targets last week sound?
Yeah, see, that's what I was worried about.
Here's the season so far. You ready? 13, 10, 14, 6, 11, 10, 7, 12. Insert Tyler Shuck. 4.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was worried about. I was worried about because I remember before the trade deadline, I was like, okay, should I try to get Rashid Shaheed? Because this is before we knew he was getting traded. And then I just was like, you know what? I don't know how Tyler Shuck is going to distribute, passes or targets. So I was just like, no, I'm good. So, I mean, you could be getting
I don't think he's a better quarterback than Rattler. I think Rattler was... I don't think Rattler was playing poor enough. They were losing games, but I think the play on the field was fine from Rattler. It wasn't like elite, and it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was good. It's going to be better than Shuck. I think they're going to regret. I mean, if they're trying to lose games, then they won't regret going to Shuck, but yeah.
Yeah. I think we even talked about it. I think we even talked about how if Rattler, and I keep calling that dude Ritter because they're just like the same person. I think,
but they're not though. But they're not. But I get you.
Rattler, we were talking about just a couple weeks ago, like if Rattler had like a season on the bench of KLC, then he could possibly be because what it is when you watch Rattler on TV, like there's something that pops a little about his game. He doesn't look like
he's a talented player. I don't think he's like an elite NFL caliber type of player, but he's a talented player. There's a reason why he was the number 1 high school recruit in the country. There's a reason why he went to Oklahoma. There's a reason why people talked about him being one of the better quarterbacks in the class and falling because of all of these things that have continued to happen with him in high school, character concerns, in college, character concerns, things like that, where it's like he's kind of just a prick. Like that's just Spencer Rattler is a prick, but he's good at football. And it's the business side of things where can I put up with you as a person and do business with you as an employee of the NFL of my team every single day? Does that outweigh your play? And I think at the NFL level, no, it doesn't. I think your play is replaceable at the NFL level. It's fine. It's not great. It's not bad though, but it's replaceable. And if you're an asshole, then I just don't want to deal with you. I would rather go pay a guy like Mac Jones or Carson Wentz, a couple $1 million a year and have have a nice guy personality in the locker room, somebody who's easygoing, not a pain in the ass to deal with, and get the same level of production as you. That's the business side of things.
Mac Jones on the Saints, shit, that don't sound bad, Andrew. That don't sound bad.
No, it doesn't sound bad. I could go get a guy like Joshua Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs can give you the level of, play that, the Passionate can give me the same level of play as you, Rattler. Like, I'm fine. And he's not going to, be an asshole to me.
Yeah. That said, the context of you just telling me Olave only got 4 targets. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. This trade is... Yeah, I ain't messing with this trade. Getting depth, the point of trading Chase and getting depth is getting good depth. Like, and I'm not saying Olave isn't good, but like with their quarterback situation unresolved, you potentially just traded Jamar Chase for a wide receiver 1, a lesser wide receiver 1, and a flex player.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me too, like, you say you're a contender that lacks depth. If I'm contending, I want the best players on my roster, period, and that's Jamar Chase for me. And I think if you need depth as a contender, I get it. It's not the same. It doesn't feel like it has long-term value like Olave does, because Olave feels like you have some longevity there. But who's to say that I can't go pay for a Devonta Adams, who's old and probably undervalued based off of the production he's giving you? Who says I can't go pay for a Keenan Allen and get some production? Who says I can't go pay for anybody? I can't go buy a J.K. Dobbins to give me some depth and production. I mean, he's banged up right now. We're getting more information on him, but you get what I'm saying. Like, why can't I go buy some cheaper depth and not lose my cornerstone elite wide receiver 1?
That's a good question. I agree.
I just think that's probably what I would do. But so I think with this, you don't lose the trade by a mile, but I just want Jamar Chase. That's just kind of how it is. But let's go to the next trade. Next trade, we got the Nicksburg Steelers, who is going to be trading away Xavier Worthy, George Pickens. I don't know why I almost said Garrett. George Pickens, Alec Iamaner, and a 2026 first-round pick. You get JSN. This is a 10-team Superflex, full PPR, no tight end premium, and start 10 type of league. Nick says he's contending. So how do you feel about a 10-team league, full PPR, moving away Pickens, Worthy, a first, and Iamaner for JSN?
I like it. Trading for, obviously, what's JSN now? Wide receiver 1? I know he top 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top 3 guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll give you the official number. Probably not super important, but official number is wide receiver 2.
And you're giving away George Pickens, who is having a good season, but we know who's going to get the lion's share of those targets. Worthy, who already been like nerfed by Rashee Rice. Iamaner, who has a quarterback that dresses up like a fucking alien for Halloween. And then you have and then you get a 26 first, a first round pick in a draft class where everybody wants to be in a 27 draft. So, and you're getting back a top 2 wide receiver. I'm taking the JSN side. I'm taking the JSN side because of the talent, and I'm taking the JSN side because of the context of Nicksburg Steelers contending.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at this type of deal, and it's not bad value when you add up the pieces. Like Pickens, Worthy, a first. These aren't like low end pieces you're getting thrown in. These are fine pieces that you would like to have on a dynasty roster. But at the end of the day, it is a 10-team league. It is start 10 and a super flex. So I'm wanting, some of the best players in fantasy on my team. And if you have depth, you're contending, you can move off of some assets to consolidate. JSN is the answer that you want to have at the end of the equation every single time. And so I'm going to take JSN here. I think there's an argument to where if you're a potential, sorry, my alarm goes off there. I think there's a argument here to a potential rebuilding team wanting some extra assets because you want to tear down a little bit. But at the same time, if I'm rebuilding, why do I want to move JSN?
Yeah. And then to add injury to insult, what if you get in a situation where George Pickens doesn't get paid by Dallas and he fucking signs with the Tennessee Titans? Then what are you gonna do?
Oh my God, that would be so bad. Oh my God, dude, that would suck so bad. For everybody who moaned and complained and whined about Pickens in Pittsburgh, if you thought it could get worse, insert Tennessee. Holy shit.
Tennessee will do something like that too. We're going to sign George Pickens to be our wide receiver 1.
And Pickens feels like the type of guy who would just take the bag of money and say, fuck it, I'll play for a bad team again because I just want the big payday.
Put on the shiesty and then take the bag of money. Yep.
God, that would suck. Give me Jason here. I'm going to this next trade. I think this is the potential last trade in the deal, or in the show, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say here. 10 team, super flex, full PPR, tight end premium, and start 9. You have a rebuilding team here. Actually, I don't think this is the last one. We may need to pick it up. We've been going on tangents too much today. You got Jordan Love, Trey Benson, a 26 first and a 26 third, being traded away for Jayden Daniels and Braylon Allen in a 10-team super flex, full PPR, tight end premium, start 9, rebuilding roster. I threw this in here because I kind of wanted to force you to have a long conversation about Jayden Daniels, and now because of time, I don't want to have you have a super long conversation about Jayden Daniels because I was going to make you put your money where your mouth is here. But look, you have this deal staring you in the face. Talk to me, man.
I'm taking this and I'm running with it. Say what I want about Jayden Daniels. I'm not crazy enough to think this is a bad deal. If I'm rebuilding and I can get Jayden Daniels and all I'm giving up is for all intents and purposes, Jordan Love and a 26 first. Like, no shade to Benson or the 3rd round pick or Allen, whatever. I'm taking that shit and running. I don't care if they ruled him out the rest of the season. I'm rebuilding anyway. I'll deal with that shit next season. I'm going to take the upside of Jayden Daniels and I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the argument here, right? Is you take Daniels, who we believe is a better dynasty asset than Jordan Love, higher upside than Jordan Love, Konami code type of archetype, and it costs you Trey Benson and a first round pick that probably is I guess I don't really know where this first would be. I would assume it's not your first. I can't imagine you would trade your own first away in a rebuild, but it feels like this is a pretty solid trade package, some compensation here for Jayden Daniels. So plus we just got news yesterday that supposedly the Jayden Daniels injury isn't going to be as bad as they had initially thought, and maybe there's a chance that he could play again this year because he's not getting put on IR. I don't know how likely that is, but obviously it sounds like it's some positive news compared to what we thought originally it was going to be. Yeah. All right then. Well, I guess I won't force you to have a Jayden Daniels conversation much longer. I'm going to take the Jayden Daniels side.
We both took his side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is what it is. I was going to make you go a little bit longer, but this is the last trade. I remember now. This is the last trade of the episode. You got a 10-team super flex, half PPR, start 9. Now, team number 1 says they have 9 firsts over the next 3 seasons after this trade. So they had 11 before this trade. They've traded 2 of them away. One of them was in 2026. One of them was in 2028, and 2 4th-round picks in 2026. They got Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, and Travion Henderson. Now having 11 firsts, now having 9, they felt like there was just way too many draft picks, and they were going to use some of the draft picks to get some young players. How do you feel about moving 2 firsts for Purdy, Pearsall, and Henderson?
2028, man. That's a long-ass time away. That always makes me just pause a little bit. I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, Henderson, I don't know what the hell's going on there, but I still wouldn't, poo-poo trading, let's say that 28 first for Henderson. I wouldn't poo-poo that. It's years away. I honestly do think with Henderson, and I was talking to one of our friends about this yesterday, I do think Henderson is in a Dion Lewis, Derrick Henry situation where Mike Vrabel is just treating him like, oh yeah, you're a rookie, so you're gonna earn these touches type stupid shit that impacts our fantasy teams because he doesn't give a shit about our fantasy teams.
Put in the work as a rookie, and in year 2, I'll let you see the field more.
Yeah. And then he'll probably end up being who we thought he was next season, but that doesn't do anything.
But at a lower cost because everybody thinks about the rookie season.
Yeah. And that's why I don't have a problem with thinking of it as like a 28 first for Henderson. 26 first for Purdy. I feel like that's a discount right there because I do think Purdy might be worth a tinge a bit more than that 26 first. And then, like Andrew was saying, now we're talking 2 fourths for Ricky Pearsall. So I think I'm gonna take the Brock Purdy side, especially considering that that you got a billion picks. So
yeah, I mean, I think this is very calculated. I think this is a very smart move because, like you said, you've cornered the market on the first round picks, 11 of them over the next 3 years. Now you have 9. You move 2 of them for players that are high upside plays or proven producers, Purdy being the proven producer, and then I think Pearsall and Henderson being the upside guys. And you also kind of have the argument here too, War, where you're buying pieces that aren't necessarily going to ruin your draft pick in 2026 because they're not scoring a ton of points right now. Pearsall injured, Purdy injured, Henderson not really on the football field. These are future plays, and they're not costing you really too much this year either. So I love this trade. I think this is very savvy. You do this a couple more times. You know, you still have 9 over the next 3 seasons there. Keep a couple of them, draft the guys you want. If you get good offers, take those offers. But I think you do this a couple more times where here's 2 more firsts. Now I have 7 and I got 3 more players like this. You're going to start looking at your roster a year from now and say, this rebuild went pretty well. I got a pretty solid roster here.
I think it's very savvy moves here. Especially when you get into the weeds with the Travion Henderson part. I do think that he's going to be a good running back down the line. Like once he gets touches, I just don't think that's going to be this season.
Classic corner the market, increase the value because there's lack of first round picks available. And now I'm going to buy low on players for the first round picks. Love it. Very savvy. But look, that's it, man. That is the last trade here in today's episode. So like I said, 10 trades submitted into the Discord. The Discord is free to join as always. So if you've never joined that Discord, you can find that link in the description in the top of the comment section. I'll link them down there for you guys so you can submit some trades in the next episode. That being said, if you did find something today informative, entertaining, actionable, anything, you just want to support the channel, obviously you can use the underdog code, but also hit the like button. The like button is the best free way to show this channel some support. So go show us some love by hitting the like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Trade shows every single week, content 7 days a week on the channel as well. So you never miss anything any day of the week, no matter what time it is. You can have us in your subscription inbox. So make sure you're subscribed. And with all of that being said, I have nothing else for you guys. Ward, do you have anything for them before we get out?
Yeah, check us out on YouTube on Crimson Mask Pro Wrestling. We're in the process of going to some different platforms, so we haven't really been posting too much content, but it's more of an under construction thing. I feel like I say that every week now, but that means
come on, brother. Let's get that construction finished. You're like the when they start doing roadside work and it's like it takes like 7 fucking years for them to finish the pothole, brother. You got to get that shit finished.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the construction will be complete soon. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look, that's it, man. Nothing else for you guys. We'll see you on the next episode, though. Until then, peace out.